Hey kids, we are continuing with Flora and Ulysses by Kate D. Camillo. And we are on chapter 12. And this was called The Forces of Evil. When Flora came back upstairs after dinner, she found Ulysses, remember Ulysses is a squirrel, curled up in a tight little ball, sleeping on her pillow. She put her hand and touched his forehead with one finger. His eyes twitched, but they didn't open. She picked up the pillow and moved it carefully to the foot of the bed. She changed into her pajamas, lay down, and imagined the words. A superhero squirrel rested at her feet, and so she was not lonely at all. Emblazoned on the ceiling above her, so she's imagining that. That's exactly right, she said. Before the divorce, before her father had moved out of the house and into an apartment, he had often sat beside her at the nightstand at night and read aloud to her from the illuminated adventures of the amazing Incandesto. It was his favorite comic. It always cheered him up to read about Alfred T. Slipper and Dolores. Her father did an excellent parakeet imitation. Holy Bagumba, he would say in a voice of Dolores. Holy unanticipated occurrences. Holy unanticipated occurrences was what Dolores would say when something truly unexpected and unbelievable was happening, which was basically all the time. Life was pretty exciting when you were Incandesto's parakeet. That means that if you guys don't know what a parakeet is, it's a little bird. Flora sat up and looked down at the sleeping squirrel. Holy unanticipated occurrences, she said. It sounded better when her father said it. Not that he said it these days. He didn't say much of anything anymore. Her father had always been a sad, quiet man, but since the divorce, he had become even sadder and quieter. Which was fine with Flora. Really, cynics don't like a lot of chatter. Besides, Alfred T. Slipper was a quiet man, too. For instance, when he was on his tour of Incandesto manufacturing facility and had fallen into the vat of Incandesto, he hadn't said a single word, not even oops. Words had appeared above his head, however, and Flora's father had read those words to her so many times that she could recite them by heart. He is an unassuming janitor, but he will dare to battle the darkness of the universe. Do you doubt him? Do you? Alfred T. Slipper will live to fight the forces of evil. He will become known to the world as Incandesto. Flora lay back down. If the squirrel were in a comic, she thought, what words would appear in the space over his head when he was sucked into the vacuum cleaner? He was an unassuming squirrel. Yep. But he will soon conquer villains of all stripes, and he will defend the defenseless and protect the weak. That sounded good, too. He will become known to the world as Ulysses. Holy Bagumba! Anything could happen. Together, she and Ulysses could change the world, or something. Do not hope. Instead, observe. Flora whispered to calm herself down. Just observe the squirrel. And then she fell asleep. That's the end of that chapter. I could keep reading because we've only been reading for 3 minutes. Okay, it's only 2 pages. So we're reading chapter 13. He woke in the darkness. His heart was beating very fast. Something had happened. What was it? He couldn't think. He was too hungry to think. He sat up and looked around the room. He was in bed, and Flora's feet were in his face, and she was snoring. He could see the outline of her round head. He loved that head. But man, was he hungry. This is Ulysses, the squirrel. The door to the bedroom opened. Ulysses got off the pillow and went out of the room. He crept along the dark hallway. He went down the stairs and past the little shepherdess. Remember, that's the lamp with the little shepherdess. The house was dark, but there was a light on the kitchen. The kitchen. That was exactly where he needed to be. He put his nose up. He sniffed. He smelled something cheesy and wonderful. He ran through the living room and the dining room and into the kitchen. He climbed up on the counter. There it was, a lone cheese puff, perched on the edge of the red Formica countertop. He ate it. It was delicious. Maybe there were more cheese puffs. He opened the cabinet, and yes, there was a big bag with a beautiful word, Cheesy-O-Mania, written in golden script on the front of it. He ate until the bag was empty, and then he burped softly, gratefully. He looked around the kitchen. So here's the picture. It's pretty cute. There he is. He's looking around the kitchen. He sees the typewriter. This is what he typed. In the darkened kitchen, the unassuming squirrel worked slowly. His whiskers trembled, his heart sang, and he was fighting evil. Was he fighting evil? Who could say? Yeah, cute. And then there's a picture of him doing it. And that's the little inscription at the bottom. So we are now on chapter 14. So that's pretty exciting. All right, so next week, you guys will be in person in the library, which is super awesome, except for those who are still on Purple Group. And I will see you guys also in the recordings, and we will read the next chapter, chapter 14. And it's entitled Squirrel. So we will find out what Ulysses has in mind for himself now that he has superpowers. Okay, kids, I will see you later. If you want to check out a book, you may come to the library. I'm here until 3:30. Okay, thanks, bye.